majority in Parliament is taking aim at government over its failure to implement the reviewed conditions of service for the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana. We told you that the union has declared an indefinite strike set to take effect from Monday, 8th of March, a move that could significantly disrupt operations across the civil service. Speaking on JoyNews, to JoyNews in Parliament, members of Parliament were sharply divided, really, along partisan lines, while NPP MPs threw their weight behind the strike and demanded the immediate implementation of the agreement. Their NDC counterparts urged the union to exercise patience with government, assuring that their concerns will be ultimately addressed.
I believe they are very much concerned about the government inconsistency in dealing with arrears payments or issues regarding conditions of service across board, because when you get government picking and choosing which government institution it wants to pay them because of fear that their strike or demonstration will go against the government, then they would look at the civil service demand and say that, come on, yours is not as critical as we see in other sectors, so we can delay. That I find is very unfortunate, because you see, these are conditions that they are entitled to, and irrespective of the state of the economy that we say or the government portrays that things are better, the economy looks good. When you go out there to the market, cost of transportation is not easy.
It's unfortunate, first of all, the declaration of strike by caucus is unfortunate, first of all, and I think that the authorities are going to be looking at it closely, and then we'll see what is due them, and they will be given. I mean, it is not in anybody's interest whatsoever at all that government institution workers declare, strike. I mean, it's not in anybody's interest. His Excellency Mahama, that's not what he's wishing for. Again, let us not forget that we took this economy from a very difficult position, and we're trying to reset this economy and to ensure that every Ghanaian gets what he or she is due. And so we played with my friends in this caucus to reconsider their decision. His Excellency Mahama would take care of every situation, and I think that will be fine. We'll be fine. I think the authorities will take care of it very soon, and then they will return to work. There should be no problem.
I will call on our colleagues to exercise restraint. This situation was inherited by this government, and the government is working around the clock to find resolution. Even though prices of goods per se have not come down dramatically, we all agree living conditions are better, because inflation is just 3.3, so the rate at which prices are going up is dramatically lower. Fuel prices low, dollar. So even though they're not getting the conditions they're looking for, they are better off under this government. And let me be clear here, this government is not going to renege on the earlier agreement with the previous government, except that we need time to capture all those things. So I will call for restraint. I will call for them to exercise some level of patience, and definitely they're going to be better under this government than the previous one.
While still in Parliament, some members of Parliament say asking them to trade their vehicles for bicycles may be a good point, but it is hardly practical for the job they do. The MPs argue their work requires constant travelling across constituencies and long journeys across the country. Responsibilities, they say, cannot realistically be carried out on two wheels. Speaking to JoyNews in Parliament, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle insist that beyond the demands of their work, all MPs actually purchase their own vehicles with personal funds.
The understanding of these vehicle thing is a whole conversation we're supposed to have. It is important to realize that government do not buy cars for members of parliament. Members of parliament go for loan to buy their car. Those, loans are taken from our salaries, and so we pay for the loans that we go for. And so it is not as if government is buying cars and dashing to members of parliament. That's the first thing. We fuel our own cars, we pay our own drivers, and again, taking my constituency, for example, into consideration for Etimokwa, under no circumstances will you want to risk the life of any MP coming from there to ride on a bicycle to come to Parliament from Chifo Etimokwa. It's not even possible. And so I think that we should put all this in context. You have directors of institutions, managing directors of institutions who are getting cars from government, are getting drivers, are getting fuel, and so forth and so on. Members of Parliament, we do not have that. We buy our own cars, we fuel our own car, we pay our own drivers. So for me, when we are having a conversation on these things, let's situate it properly so that we do not paint pictures to the Ghanaian people as if though we're dancing in luxury, when in actual fact it is not like that.
Well, I don't think the issue is about bicycle or motorbike or saloon car or Land Cruiser. It's about the best means of transportation to enable you perform your duty as a member of parliament. If I go to my constituency, I don't drive Land Cruiser. The constituency will tell, before I came to parliament, I was driving Land Cruiser, I was driving Prado. But since I became an MP, I've dropped it, because in my constituency, I don't need a Land Cruiser to go around. I go to funerals in my Colios, Renault Colios. And so if someone comes from the north and he has to travel all the way to Bolgatanga like Adongo or any others, are you saying that they should use bicycle to go to the north? Or they should, because you don't even have a flight all the way to Bolga. When Haruna Idrisu and co were traveling to Tumu, even in Land Cruiser with the accident, if they were going on bicycle, what would have been the fate of them? And these are people's representatives. You see, we shouldn't forget that MPs are representative of the entire country. 276 people representing over 30 million Ghanaians. And so their safety, their security should be a concern for everybody.
Yeah, I think we need to step up the education. Some people don't really appreciate the work of members of parliament. Of course, we have some members who are not diligent on their duties. But if you want to be diligent, here we are. It is now past 2 o'clock. We will rise around 4 p.m. And wherever your constituency is, you have to find yourself in for tomorrow's morning's activities. You will finish with the weekend activities on Sunday. We are sitting on Monday, 10 a.m. So it is not easy at all. Just last week, I was in my constituency on 3 different occasions, yet I didn't miss a single sitting here. So if you are diligent on your duties, it is not going to be easy. So when members are driving in, say, cross-country cars, for me, it is not for pleasure, it is not for fun. It is for the hard work members have to do. My friend Ahenkwa, I always travel to constituency with him. When I get to Brekum West, that's something about 9-10 hours. He still has about 2-3 hours to go to get to German North, Sampa, around Côte d'Ivoire border. So shuttling between Accra constituency, attending committee meetings, attending other engagements. Don't forget, even in Accra, you have a number of engagements you attend outside your constituency, outside work in the chamber, outside committee work.
While still in Parliament, the Minority Leader Alexander Afeomakin has appealed to the Majority Caucus to desist from displaying placards bearing the image of the former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on the floor of Parliament. His concerns follow strong reservation expressed by the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party and the family of Ken Ofori-Atta over the conduct of some majority members of Parliament who were seen holding up placards with his picture during the State of the Nation address. Here is the Minority Leader raising the matter on the floor of Parliament.
To the extent that the colleague is a junior brother of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, a former finance minister of this republic. No court has found him guilty. We can do our politics, but to also print his pictures deliberately. And that day, the whole world's attention was on this chamber. I would plead through my friend the Chief Whip, to ensure that in future any such action is curtailed, controlled, or stopped by him, so that this house would get the needed peace. Because, Mr. Speaker, if we don't stop it, a certain precedent will be set. Today, the Council of Elders have summoned me. That market. What about the caucus? Ken Ofori-Atta, they carry this picture and call him corrupt. What is MPP also doing? I want to assure the Honorable Duke Ofori-Atta, who has persistently, because I was not in the chamber, he still insisted that the family is so concerned that as a caucus, we have not dealt with this matter, and I had to rush into the chamber to make this plea. I don't intend to litigate it, but I am pleading with the Chief Whip and the leadership of the majority caucus that enough of Ken Ofori-Atta's name in this chamber and the persecution and the attack on his reputation. He also is a human being, a Ghanaian. He has a wife, he has children, he has extended family, and not the least, he has a brother who is a sitting member with us.
Well, Nelson Rocks in Dafiamepo in response urged the family of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to encourage him to return to Ghana and submit himself to due process.
I am pained. I am pained that this matter is having some adverse impact on Duke. I am pained. Yes, I am pained because I can gauge the mood. But it's about his elder brother's conduct. Everybody's saying, come and account for us too. I believe that if he were here and going through the processes, nobody will mention his name. So on this note, I want to assure him that we will not antagonize him. Please, we will not antagonize him, especially when his sensibilities are concerned. But we want to urge him to urge his big brother to come home.
Well, still in Parliament, the minority leader, Alexander Feyo-Markin, has formally retracted and apologized for corruption allegations he made regarding the ongoing security services recruitment exercise, bringing an abrupt end to the brewing parliamentary standoff. The apology follows a complaint by the Interior Minister, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, who had taken the issue to the head of Parliament. According to him, he says that the claims that the recruitment process is flawed is untenable. Let's listen to Alexander Feyo-Markin apologize.
If, Mr. Speaker, the text of my concerns reflected so, it is hereby accordingly withdrawn. And, Mr. Speaker, as colleagues, when a member feels strongly about a statement which is unintended, the right thing to do is to withdraw and apologize to him. Mr. Speaker, I proceed to do so and to assure him that concerns that would arise out of any matter shall be properly brought to his attention. But on this matter, as I've said before, I will repeat it for Hansa, that anything related to him or his ministry is withdrawn. And again, apologies to him.
Well, the Interior Minister, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, who had earlier complained about the allegations, has been reacting to the minority leader's apology.
It is painful to be wrongly accused or your action to be misconstrued and be labeled differently from the intention that you have, especially when it's connoted with criminality and heavy wrongdoing. I will be the first to always say that fight for the right thing to be done. Make sure that wrong things are not done. But let's not do it as though we intend to destroy each other. I am heavily hurt
am heavily worried. But who am I to say that I'm going to play God and I will not accept it? I accept it wholeheartedly, and I pray that this guides all of us, myself, the hardworking service commanders that I have, the hardworking staff at the ministry, for us to continue to do the right thing, and to also assure the minority leader and the minority and the whole house that if there are anything that they think needs our attention, we'll be more than happy to look at them and address them. But I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, because even if we go to privileges and a member that you are referring to privileges goes there to say that I'm sorry for all that I've said, it ends the matter. My only plea, Mr. Speaker, is that if it is possible to expound that from our records, and if the debate or the comment made yesterday in any way was also hardship and the House decided that both or all that should be expanded, I think that may do all of us a lot of good.
Well, let's listen to the ruling from the chair after the apology, particularly regarding the referral of the minority leader to the Privileges Committee.
I would order that the referral to the Privileges and Immunities Committee for examination, inquiry, and reports is accordingly withdrawn. I will further direct that those words complained about said by the minority leader and complained about by the minority leader is accordingly ordered to be expunged from the record as if it does not exist. By so doing, the matter is put to rest.
Away from Parliament, as Ghana battles the effects of climate change, the focus has largely been on drainage and flooding. But in places like Agbogbloshie, residents are facing extreme urban heat, worsened by toxic pollution and poor housing conditions. On today's Climate Evidence, we focus on the hidden health crisis in one of Accra's most vulnerable slums and ask what happens when climate resilience doesn't reach the margins.
Day, the heat is unbearable. By night, the air is thick with smoke. In Agbogbloshie, Accra's notorious slum, climate vulnerability isn't a theory, it's a struggle. While major parts of the city benefit from the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project, GARD, this part of town is still waiting. The narrow alleys of Agbogbloshie traps heat like an oven. Temperatures inside rooms can soar beyond safe levels, a silent killer few are talking about. Agbogbloshie is one of West Africa's largest informal e-processing hubs. With little regulation, scrap dealers burn metals daily, releasing toxic smoke into already polluted air. But in Agbogbloshie, shade is rare, trees are few, and promise of climate protection remains far away. For these residents, climate change isn't just about floods or rising sea levels. It's about daily survival under suffocating heat and poison in the air.
The children struggle a lot at night. Recently, my child has been affected by a skin disease.
I
currently sleep at the Cucumber Market. The rent is around 60 cedis per month. We come out to get some fresh air.
A 2024 study by Dr. Ebenezer Mankwa from the University of Ghana reveals that urban slums like Agbogbloshie are experiencing a unique heat health burden. A dangerous combination of chronic heat exposure, poor air quality and limited access to health care.
We have installed heat detection devices in rooms and hospitals. For setup, position windows to face each other and orient buildings to allow wind flow, reducing heat impacts.
Agencies like the Environmental Protection Agency have launched urban greening initiatives in selected guard zones, promoting natural cooling in heat-prone neighborhoods.
The
EPA encourages Ghanaians to plant trees in their homes.
Climate resilience must be inclusive, no one left behind. Agbogbloshi is just one of many forgotten corners in Accra where the cost of climate inaction is already too high. Experts say health-focused, heat-sensitive interventions are urgently needed in such areas, and projects like GUARD could be the blueprint. But until action meets urgency, the most vulnerable will remain dangerously exposed. Prince Owusu Esiedu's report read to you.
This story is brought to you by JoyNews in partnership with CDKN Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from CLARE R4I Opportunities Fund.
Away from that, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has announced that the Ghana Education Service will review existing school discipline frameworks as part of efforts to address student misconduct at an early stage and prevent situations from escalating. Professor Opoku-Agyeman made the announcement when she served as the distinguished guest of honor at the 69th President's Independence Day Award ceremony held here in Accra.
Today we recognize 52 outstanding students chosen from public and private schools in our nation's 16 regions, including students with visual and hearing impairments. They deserve extra applause. As a nation, our duty is to keep ensuring that every child, no matter their ability or background, has the chance to learn, grow, and succeed. I extend my warmest congratulations to our students. Where are the award winners? Will you stand for a minute? I congratulate you especially. Your discipline and perseverance have brought prestige to your homes, your schools, and to this country. I urge you to use this momentum to pursue greater responsibilities and achievements. You can sit down for the time being. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Independence Day theme, that is building prosperity, restoring hope, is a call to action to all of us, especially our young people. Prosperity is not built by infrastructure and policies alone. It is also built by law-abiding students and citizens who understand that personal conduct has national repercussions. We have seen troubling developments, including reports of exam malpractices in some schools, vandalism, and increasing disrespect towards school authorities and rules. Only a small percentage of our youth engage in these behaviors. However, they risk undermining national progress and sending the wrong signals about the Ghana we want. In response to these concerns, therefore, the Ministry of Education, through the Ghana Education Service and key stakeholders, are working to strengthen discipline and value-based education across our schools. We will support schools in reinforcing guidance and counseling systems and ensuring that disciplinary measures remain firm, fair, and respectful of children's rights and dignity.
Away from that, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, is urging the Muslim community to use the holy month of Ramadan as a period of fervent intercession that will lead to the cessation of hostilities in the Middle East arising from the killing of the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ali Khamenei. Ghana's embassies and consulate posts in Qatar, UAE and other Gulf states throughout the week have been working out a coordinated emergency response mechanism that will ensure the safety of citizens living in the volatile region. Speaking at the second edition of the Iftar dinner organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa prayed for religious tolerance, hoping that interfaith harmony will be promoted in the holy month. The Chief Imam Osman Nuhu Sarabutu, who days before condemned the killing of Iran's supreme leader, was also represented at the event.
This divine message speaks directly to the essence of diplomacy: mutual respect, understanding across cultures, and cooperation for the common good. Your Excellencies, we are living in very challenging times, particularly for our brothers and sisters in the Muslim world. Our collective conscience is being called upon at a time of great stress in the Middle East and the Gulf regions. And it is my fervent prayer that we use this blessed month of Ramadan to pray for peace to reign and for the guns to be silenced in this region. We also ask that this holy month of Ramadan will lead to a cessation and a de-escalation of the ongoing conflict. Your Excellencies, the presence of the diplomatic corps this evening is a very significant reminder of the strong bonds of friendship, mutual respect, and constructive engagement that exists between our country and the larger international community. At a time when the world faces complex challenges, from conflict and insecurity to economic and humanitarian pressures, occasions such as this reaffirm the importance of dialogue, of partnership, and of mutual cooperation. I wish to extend heartfelt recognition to our coordinating directors, ambassadors, and directors of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, whose unwavering dedication and exemplary leadership have been pivotal in advancing Ghana's diplomacy.
Away from that, the Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Alhassan Suhini, has warned that the ministry will not tolerate substandard work by contractors on the Tamale Third Ring Road project. He said quality of work is at the heart of what the road ministry is doing, adding that the ministry would hold the contractors to the standards they expect them to deliver. The minister said this when he inspected the project under the Big Push agenda in Tamale.
The Tamale Third Ring Road is set to improve traffic flow in the city and enhance connectivity to neighboring districts when completed. Speaking after inspecting the project, the Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Alhassan Suhini, said whilst others had done a good job, others had fallen short.
As we have gone round, the impression is mixed. We are impressed with some sections, but we are very disappointed in the progress of work as far as some sections are concerned. We have expressed our disappointment to some of the people or contractors are responsible of the sections that we are not very pleased with, and we will have a meeting with them also at the RCC, and that will feed into the report that we will submit to the minister to appropriately take action. We are not going to take lightly concerns regarding poor work or poor pace of work. Quality of work is at the heart of what we are doing, and we will make sure that we hold the contractors to the highest of standards that we expect them to execute their projects to.
He said discussions are underway to compensate those whose properties were destroyed.
Many of the property owners are cooperating so far. They have presented whatever documents that they have to show ownership, and the Land Valuation Board of the Land Commission is also collaborating with the Urban Roads Department to ensure that the appropriate values are determined, and we have the assurance that by next week the contractor on some of the sections would have made funds available for the compensation to begin as soon as possible.
The director at Urban Roads in the region said the Tamale Third Ring Road has 3 contractors on the project.
The scope of this project is 34 kilometers of dual carriage, 33 to be precise, of dual carriage, and we have 3 contractors. The work has been divided into 3 lots. Lot 1 being done by Michel's China Railway number 5, Lot 2 being done by Michel's Sino Hydro, and Lot 3 being done by Michel's Monisco Limited. So they are all doing approximately 11 kilometers of dual carriage each. We would have expected that ordinarily within 4 months we would have done a lot more. But we will listen to the challenges that are being faced, and as you said, we will make our appropriate recommendations.
Well, away from that, the medical superintendent of St. Edward Catholic Hospital, Dr. Christopher Anani, has confirmed that 6 persons survived the ghastly accident at Potrikrum in the Ashanti region. Out of the survivors, they tell us that 3 have been treated and discharged, while 3 others are still in critical condition and are receiving care. They've been referred to the Kofanoti Teaching Hospital and the St. John of God Hospital for further medical care.
According to Dr. Anane, the death toll remains 16. However, the 6 injured victims currently receiving treatment are responding positively.
Apparently, on the spot in the now 5 now almost I expired the actually no and so at the count.
We were here and they brought 5 bodies. Later they brought 2. All expired later on. 6 people were also brought injured and we treated them to discharge. 3 are on referral.
3 cases your boy call big cock of not in the call St. John of God do encounter. Among my friend police for the among vehicle by have 4 money na echo nti ni pass 7 na die because money na police and same.
Speaking to Adum News during a visit to the scene, he disclosed that preliminary investigations indicate that the vehicles involved in the crash were traveling from Drobo in the Bono region.
Ambulance na a day case if Drobo
Our information noted that the ambulance was coming from Drobo and a passenger car was traveling to Drobo and they had a head-on collision.
That casualties,
At the St. Edward mortuary, grieving families gathered to identify the bodies of their loved ones in what was a deeply sorrowful scene. Meanwhile, police have launched investigations to determine the exact cause of the fatal accident which occurred on Tuesday, March 3rd. A resident of Potrikrum, Openyin Kwekwedu, recounted the ambulance was speeding with its siren blaring and attempted to overtake a trailer, resulting in a head-on collision.
And ambulance will send up and about when the moon is ambulance and I can say, we're overtaking. As I'm in a car, so what do I tell them to give you? I just say, well, phone and not just when I'm there, what's what it boom.
I was sitting here and heard the ambulance coming on top speed, and there was a trailer coming which the ambulance tried to overtake and landed in a ghastly accident. Joseph Obin's report for Joy News.
You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us.